dancing. We're dancing. We're ready.
I was doing all these gestures, and I probably looked like I thought people could see me. No, I was doing that just to be the hype person, just getting myself psyched up.
Yes. Yes. We love it. We love it. I've got a Cinco de Mayo background, even though it's 6 de Mayo.
Do you want me to get Yoda because Sunday was May the 4th?
Yes. Oh my
Do you
gosh.
want me to do that now?
We'll celebrate all the things. Why not?
Why don't you greet the lovely people like Terry and Nicole and Paige and Molly and Angie while I get Yoda?
Okay, great. Good morning, Paige. As you can see, we're off to a great start here. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Nicole. Oh my gosh, I love starting a workday online, and the first thing that happens is seeing friends. Yay! I know. Hooray, hooray. Good morning, Angie. Good morning, Molly. Oh yes, we will be talking about the good things that we are reading today. Oh my gosh, it is the best. Hi, bye. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Stacy. Oh my gosh, I love it. Good morning. Oh, and good morning, Yoda. Oh, this is amazing. Yoda's got his own tiara. I love it.
Yoda wears it better than I do. Who wore it better? Yoda.
Oh, and Barkity Bark. Silly says Barkity Bark.
It's a fox. Oh, he's got a little fox.
Oh my gosh, so cute. I love that Yoda has his own.
The tiara because Yoda just had a message for the people. Oh, for Pete's sake. Yoda, if you had hair, I would give you bobby pins.
Oh, there you go. See, that's what it is.
Okay, here we go. Yoda's message to the people is, pretty, pretty princess I am.
Well done.
Tiaras lead to the dark side. And I'm loving it.
You're making it work. I tell you.
I think he had a little Irish in his morning coffee.
You're so funny.
And
good morning, Wyoming, and good morning, Silly.
Barkity, barkity.
There you We don't want anyone to feel left out. Good afternoon, Dee. Hello. Keeping you on while doing my work. It's late afternoon where I am. Good afternoon, bye. I love it. I love it. Yes, Yoda is the prettiest princess.
Isn't he, though?
Facts.
Princess Leia just took one look at him and her wig was snatched.
Oh my goodness, I love it so much. Well, we need to talk a little bit about, okay, so anybody that's just coming on now looking for Jenna Bigelow, she's going to be here at 11 a.m. Oh my gosh, I'm doing so many lives this week. I'm like, what's going on? I'm literally every single day this week, I think. I've got something going on, and it's starting to catch up to me already. I'm like, where am I? What's going on? 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we will be having Jenna on, which is in roughly an hour and a half. So 90 minutes from now, especially if you're watching the replay, just kind of scroll right on through, or scrub, I guess is the term. But let's talk a little bit about, for those of you.
Well, you're going to chapterize it, aren't you?
Yes.
So they can just like.
Sometimes it takes me a minute though, because I have to go to school and get my daughter, and then there's the things. It's also Teacher Appreciation Week, so there's a million other things I have to do, but it's all good. It's all good. But yes, I will do the chapters. Thank you for reminding me. Let's talk a little bit about the Ever Afterathon for those of us that are participating right now. We found out yesterday that Team Traveler is currently winning, or at least we won the first week, which is very, very exciting.
Except that everybody's a winner when it's a readathon.
Well, this is true. This is true.
I was just recording a video about the books I've been reading. And I was thinking like, I have read so many books in the last few days. And I was like, wow, a readathon might be great for getting people out of a slump. And then I'm like, wait a minute, no, it would be too much pressure. So now I'm thinking I might want to do a slumpathon.
Oh, a slumpathon. I love that idea. I've never heard that before. I love that you're coming up with brand new things. That's brilliant. Loving the tree in the back sock. Tell us about this tree.
This is the springtime tree still. It's got flowers. It's got decorated eggs. I mean, they're not literal eggs because,
they would go bad.
What am I, a Rockefeller? And it's got like various florals, like this little basket of flowers.
Oh, beautiful. I
And
love it.
then I have like little ornaments, like this is pink gingham,
Cute. Cute.
and uh, this is purple sparkly. I don't know if you can
I
tell that
love
it's purple.
it.
My
Yeah.
lighting is kind of messed up because it's overcast but bright. So
Oh,
with you can see how bright it is. I have very heavy curtains in here, and you can see how bright it is outside.
yeah.
And so I was like, if I have the curtains open, it's too much light. So I
Mhm.
have to have the curtains closed with artificial light. But anyway, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So and
I know
then
it's dark here too.
this is my I think of this as my springtime tiara,
It's so
and that's
pretty.
the topper, except that I took it off so I could wear it.
Well, there you go. That's what you
I
gotta
think
do.
we had the same storm system you did last night, only much
Yes.
more mild. We were like on the edge.
And it's so funny, we have a rose bush that's at the end of our sidewalk going into
Mhm.
the driveway, and the rose bush fell over, and you would not believe but I take my dogs with me when we drop the kids off because all the teachers love the dogs, and they give them treats, and every morning it's like this beautiful experience for the dogs where everyone knows their names, and, but anyway, between the 2 dogs and the 3 kids, you would not believe how a rose bush being over just totally upended the morning. They're like, "Oh, what do I do?" And then they're trying to walk through it and there's thorns. They're like, "What's that?" Like, and then they're getting wet in the grass. I'm
It
like,
doesn't belong there. Deborah has an important question. She wants
"Yes.
to know about butterflies.
Yes."
And I do have some on the tree, but I have some scattered around as well. Because Deborah in the Christmas, holiday gift exchange in December,
Yeah.
she sent me butterflies. This is one of the gold ones. She also sent me pink. And like I said, some of them are on the tree, some of them are around. But this was the one I was able to just kind of reach back and grab.
I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I love it. Oh, see, she knew. She knew. Now, do you make any of these sock or where do you get them?
Um, no, I don't make them.
Like the gingham one, for example. Like I could see
No,
that
no.
one having
I
potpourri.
got that. I got that from an online retailer.
Oh,
This is like as close as I get to making things. This is a transparent plastic ball, and I'm getting too much brightness. So you can see my computer in the thing.
yeah.
Let me see if I can dim the lights.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh,
And
that's so
it's got a
pretty.
very sparkly glitter ribbon in it.
I
And
love
what I did was
that.
I got the empty ornaments from a craft store, and I
Yes.
got the ribbon from like Dollar General, and then I just pushed the ribbon in there. And they also they call them alphabet tiles at Dollar General. And what they are is they're Scrabble tiles, but Scrabble
Oh.
is a trademark.
Oh.
So I put those into a larger ball, which I can't reach at the moment, and shook it up with some glitter. So I have a Scrabble tile ornament with glitter. So that's about as crafty as I get, is putting together things other people have made, and
We
in a
should
way that I enjoy.
Wouldn't it be fun if we did like a craft? Like we could give everybody time to collect the things like from Dollar Tree, Dollar General, whatever, and did like a super fun craft that we would all then have. That would be so
Um,
fun.
Set a budget would be
Yes.
my first and foremost concern. Set a budget,
Yes.
like
Smart.
$5 or six
Yes.
dollars
Yeah,
or
we
ten
wouldn't want
dollars.
no, 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 no.
Nothing over $10.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I love that. But, that would be so fun. Oh, you're giving me ideas. Yeah, as you always do. Oh, and
Well,
today, when we interview Jenna Bigelow, you have to be the one to ask the question about the candle. I feel this morning I was thinking, I was like, I kind of stole Sock's question. I feel so bad because you got that great question about the candle. And now I just use it in general, but I always
well,
attribute it to you. But I'm like,
I was talking with my mom about that this morning, and I said, because I said a couple of times, I was telling her because she's picking up a hold for me at the library, and it's Celebrity Crush by,
okay.
is it Celebrity Crush? Is that the
Yes.
name of it? By Christy Swift.
Yes, yes,
She was on
yes.
the channel, and I asked that question in the comments, and she had a suggestion. But it's like a couple of times I asked it in the comments, and people were like, "Oh, that's a really interesting question." But they, one time I didn't, and after the author left, it was a book I wasn't going to read, and after the author left, somebody who I'm not going to shout out said, "Oh, but Sock, you didn't ask your candle question." I was like, "No, no, I didn't." So I was
Maybe
telling
I'll
mom,
leave it to you to see if you want that to be asked or not.
no, that's the thing is that I told mom, I said, B has just added it to the list of questions. I said, which is great.
Oh, okay.
I said, this is great because I said that way, because the authors do get the questions in advance. That way they're not put on the spot because it's not necessarily a question they're asked a million times. Like, they're pretty used to answering some of those questions,
Yeah.
about the process or how they became writers and that kind of thing. And talking about the book itself, obviously, but not necessarily the candle question. I said, that's great because it doesn't put them on the spot. They can give it some thought in advance,
They
and then they can
love
recommend
it.
a $60 candle. Um,
Like last night, I was like, I don't even know what that is, but
Diptyque,
that sounds
they're
exciting.
nice. They're really nice, and they're expensive. And if you only spend your money on BTS tickets and Diptyque, and it's her money, of course. But I liked that she said Diptyque, but then she said what the scents were,
Yes.
because you don't have to buy the $60 Diptyque to get a wood fire smell.
Right.
I've seen wood fire candles at Dollar Tree.
Oh, there you go.
So I just
Good.
don't burn them very much because my mom has a more sensitive nose than I do. And she'll
Sure.
think the house is on fire,
Oh,
especially if I'm
no.
burning them after she goes to bed. So yeah, I was like, okay. And then fig, you can find fig. You don't have to spend $60. If you have $60 to spend, they're nice candles, but
Yeah.
you don't have to.
Yeah, Nicole's echoing what you said. It was nice that we could at least get an
Yeah,
idea of what the smells or oils involved would be. Sure.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Agreed.
I may not have pets or children, but I'd rather spend, $50 on books and $10 on a fig candle from TJ Maxx or
Isn't that
Marshall.
the truth? It's true. I'm the same. Like, I would rather buy, rather than fancy clothes, I would rather buy books.
Well, I will point out, I'm going to talk about one of the candles that I
Yeah.
chose for this book because I already read the book.
Yes. Yes.
And I chose this candle is called, I don't know if you can see, it's called mulled wine.
Yes.
And it's a tin and it's got 4 wicks.
That must burn
And this
fast.
was $3 at Dollar Tree.
Get out. I love it.
And it's nice because a lot of times those less expensive candles can have a really like chemical smell and they smell like an air freshener or something, which is fine if that's what you want them for, especially for a space like a bathroom or a kitchen.
Yeah.
But these are nice. Now that Dollar Tree has started offering things that are,
A
$3,
little
$5 price points,
yes.
very clearly marked. So yeah.
That really
Anyway,
confused me at first when they did that. When they started doing that, I'm like, "Wait, that's not $1.25." I always used to let my kids we'd go together and they could just pick out whatever they wanted, and I'm like, "Wait a second, that might not be $1.25."
well, some things are worth the splurge. You
This is
know.
exactly right. This is exactly right. Yeah. I'm actually obsessed with there's a Walmart, candle called Mindful. They've got all these
Yes, I
oh my
remember you showing that.
oh, that's right. Okay, thank you. Yes.
I mean,
I'm
it's worth repeating.
yeah. I tell you what, yeah, I'm really excited about it though. I've bought it for friends. It's a really nice light smell, but I thought I'm gonna burn this all summer, all spring and summer until it's time for fall candles. Then I get really excited. Candles and incense, I enjoy both when I'm reading. So relaxing. Yes, I love it.
Yeah. And I
But yeah,
have fun. Well, that's the whole premise of my Instagram, not so
yes.
much YouTube, but Instagram is like I have like a lot of candles, like an embarrassing number of candles. And I should do a candle video, but I mean, I put them, I actually,
You should.
well, actually, that was
Mhm.
Abby Jean's idea. She was like, "Are you going to do a candle video?" And I was like, I was kind of thinking about it, but I've got a bunch of stuff.
I love
So
it. I'm so excited. That's so fun.
but
Um,
I need to work on that some. And anyway, so I try to have fun picking a candle that goes with what I'm reading.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. And it's funny, I always thought about music in terms of the book. And I meant to ask that question. I didn't add it in the banner last night, but that's another one that I've added. But they really, all the authors just love that question. Angie says, I don't really like candles because when I was little, a candle burned my hand when I was turning on, and I've been scared ever since. Well, that'll do it.
Oh, yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
sorry that happened. Yikes.
That's
Ouch.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we live in a society where you can pretty much avoid candles.
Yeah, thank heavens. And they've
Yeah,
got
it's
some
not.
really nice, warmers, and I know I've shared this. I used
Yeah,
to work in Bath and
you
Body
can do
Works.
flameless. Yeah.
We would do the plugins. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, the plugins. When I was in college, we always had a pumpkin plug-in, like, all year round. We
Well, the
loved it.
warmers too is you can get the wax melts usually involve some kind of heating element, but
Yeah.
you can actually get the warmers and just put any candle under the warmer.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
just look like a little desk lamp. You can get them for like 15 to 20 bucks at Marshall's or wherever.
Yeah.
And you just put any old candle under there and you can enjoy the scent. And yes, it's still
Mm.
a candle and yes, it still has a wick, but you don't have to set it on fire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We
No
keep
flame
ours.
involved. Just
I have
completely
to be
flame.
I have to be so careful with my actually, the kids are fine now, but when they were little, I got nervous, and so I'd only have a candle on the stove, like, at the back where they couldn't see it, they couldn't reach it, we couldn't get the little, I don't know, what do you call that thing? A lighter. A lighter! They couldn't reach that either, but yeah, you have to be so careful. You have to be so
I don't
careful.
see my lighter. I have a flameless lighter. Hi,
Oh,
it's an electric spark.
yes, we have that too.
Yeah.
We have to charge it
Morning.
sometimes. I'm like, "What in the world?" Good morning,
Hi,
Kristen.
Kristen. I should say when I do book talk with Sock on Monday, that's still almost a week away, at
Yes,
7 p.m. Eastern, it's
yes,
going to be like a mid Ever Afterathon check-in. And
perfect.
Kristen is joining me because she is Team Pirate. So
Oh,
she's going to co-host with me for that.
perfect. So that'll be May, what is that? May
Well,
the 12th?
mhm,
Excellent, excellent. Oh boy, looking forward to that. Yeah, it'll be just about halfway through already by that point. I can't believe
mhm,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Deborah says, I have a warmer. I love it. The wax lasts so long. After it seems to lose its scent, I just add essential oils. Oh, brilliant. I love that idea. Where
nice.
do you guys, okay, continuing this conversation, where do you get your essential oils? Because whenever I tend to get them from like Wegmans, which is a higher end grocery store where I live, and they can be really expensive. There was one, there were a couple that as I was checking out, I didn't realize they were roughly $20 for something this big. And I asked the lady, I'm like, can I please put these back? There's no way. But where do you ever do essential oils, Sock?
Not really, but I've seen them,
Yeah.
and occasionally they will have them at Marshalls. A lot of times, what they will have, which is another thing you can do if you, again, don't have pets or small children and you don't want to deal with flame, are those it's a jar with essential oil in it, and you have some wood reed stick kind of things, and you put them
Oh,
in there.
yes.
You've probably seen them,
I
and
have
then
seen that.
they kind of gently diffuse that.
Yes, and isn't there
And I've
something
seen
I could
those.
be
Those
mi
you can get at Marshalls, and I think I've seen them at Walmart. Marshalls and TJ Maxx frequently have them, and
yes. I
so
feel like
you
I've
can
seen too,
you
there's like something, it almost looks like a humidifier, and it sort of
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sure exactly about those. I haven't used those. I'm actually rocking my dehumidifier at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So
With all the rain, oh my gosh, yes. She gets them at Walmart. Thank you, Deborah.
yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Because I
Mhm,
think yeah, you
essential
can get
oils.
the jars that are just the essential oil. Oh,
Yes.
and Angie says she likes them too. And
Uh-huh.
or you can also get the ones that already come in a little decorative jar with the reeds, and you put the
Yes.
reeds in separately. But yeah, so
One
yeah.
thing that we got, my mother and I went to a craft fair not too long ago, and there were these beautiful bracelets that included like 5 beads of lava rock that they had,
Mm,
ground down so that they were circle or spheres, and you would put, because the lava rock is more absorbent, or that's not, I don't feel like that's the right word, but I'm gonna use it right now. But you would put essential oil in the lava rock, and then you'd have this beautiful scent that followed you around all day. And
mhm.
we did peppermint and eucalyptus, I think, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, this is heaven." I really enjoyed that. But, yeah, I don't know that they sell those widely. We just got them at a craft fair. Amazon has a large selection at many price points. Ooh, okay, good to know. Angie's Reading Life, you can always get the same enjoyment from fresh flowers. Oh, that's also true. Who
It's a
doesn't
little
love that?
pricey. It's a little pricey though,
It can be,
because
depending on where you go.
you
That's
buy
true.
a bouquet of flowers, and a lot of them aren't necessarily, if you're picking them from your yard, sure, but a lot of them are bred for longevity and ease of transport, and they kind of
Oh,
lose some of the scent.
oh.
But for the same amount of money you spend for some essential oil that's going to last a long time. You would get like a bouquet that doesn't last very long, and you got to keep an eye on it. So yes, I love fresh flowers. I'm not trying to dump on that suggestion, but I'm just saying that they're not practical for everyone.
Sure, sure, sure. I went to a florist yesterday because, again, Teacher Appreciation Week, and I'm trying to get bouquets and things. And those poor things, I walked in and they were the most frazzled people I think I'd ever seen between Teacher Appreciation Week, Mother's Day, and prom. They were just walking around. And then I walked up. I'm like, is it terrible if I ask you for more flowers? I just felt so bad. They were wonderful, though. But I thought, oh, this is big. And tomorrow is Nurses Day.
Oh
And we
wow.
have school nurses that we love. Between my son, my older son's epilepsy and then my younger son's food allergies, I'm talking to the nurses all the time. So I'm always like, I need to celebrate them on Nurses Day. So I'm going to probably head back. Oh, I love your mug too, by the way. Let's talk about that.
That's the same one that I use whenever I'm on your show. It's B.
Oh, I love it so much. I need to bring the one that Kristen got me. Kristen gave me a beautiful, beautiful bee mug, and I'm just so in love with it. It's down in the basement as my like a decoration, but I need to go grab it. Shannon's here. Hey, Shannon. She says, I absolutely love candles, but I have a cat who is very curious and has no sense of self-preservation. Those two traits don't work well with candles. So true, Shannon.
No pets. I have no pets. I have no children. So
There you go.
and
There you go.
my mother is curious, but she has a pretty good sense of self-preservation. That's how she
Your
got
mother's
to
not
be.
going to walk over a candle.
Yeah, that's how she
Hello.
got to be, as old as she is.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Hi, Amina. We're so glad you're here. Good
Amina!
afternoon. Oh my gosh, it's so good to have you. We're just chit-chatting about all kinds of little things before we
Yeah,
talk about
we
some of these
haven't even
stories.
talked about the Ever Afterathon really, except to point out that currently Team Traveler is ahead, but
Yes,
we're all winners.
that's
And we haven't touched on new releases and
right. We're getting there.
another tip.
Trader Joe's, get out. They just built one by my house. I'm so excited. I'll have to go in there. How fun. I love all these great tips. I feel like essential oils last longer than flowers. Well, I guess that's true. Yeah, there's all kinds of different ways, thankfully, to enjoy great smells. I'm excited about the idea that they're at Walmart. I never would have thought that.
Hmm.
I never would have thought
But they
that.
should be like right there in the candle aisle.
There you go. Now I'm going back to
So
the
if you
candle
just go a little further,
aisle. That's all I need to do. Just walk a little bit further. Has anyone read If the
if
Tides?
you hit light bulbs, you've gone too far.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Look at Kristen bringing up a book. What
Oh,
a novelty. Has anyone read If the
boy,
Tide Turns by
she's cracking the whip.
she she's like, guys, get on it. Get on it. Has anyone read If the Tide Turns by Rachel Rueckert?
I have not heard of this book. I have not heard of this author. Tell me more. Tell me more.
I am looking for books tomorrow at the
Oh,
library.
the weekly challenge. Yes, we could talk about the weekly challenge.
Let's talk about the weekly challenge.
We're going to talk about the weekly challenge.
Look at us being on topic. I love it. I love it. Okay,
Oh,
so what's
because
your thoughts on the weekly challenge?
Kristen made us. Now I'm even more looking. I was already looking forward to having her on Book Talk with Sock, and now I'm really looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Get to the books.
I love it so much.
That is not a very good impression of Kristen.
No, that was not.
She's so
She
sweet,
would
soft
never say
focus.
that. She would never
Oh,
say that.
maybe we could get to the books now.
Yeah. Well, I'm
That
really
would be
excited
wonderful.
about that challenge. I was actually going to be putting out, and I was halfway through my April wrap up, but now I'm going to hold off on that for another week. And I'm going to do because I actually went to a library sale last week, which, oh my gosh, how perfect. And so I'll be able to do a book haul from the last week library sale. So I'm really looking forward to that. So what about
I
you?
scored a
Sock?
bunch of I scored a bunch of free books at a library.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
They had this like the racks, and they had the mass market paperbacks are just like it says free books. In fact, I took a picture of that, and that is going to be my thumbnail. Or it already is my thumbnail for tomorrow's live stream, because I'm going to talk about the free books I scored,
Yes.
including a time travel romance.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, that's so
So
fun.
yeah, so they just had free books, and she's just I had like these stacks and stacks of books, and I was like, I asked one of the librarians who was doing some stuff. I was like, is there any limit? And she says, no, we just ask that if you read it and you don't want to keep it and you don't have anyone to send it to or give it to, please bring it back.
Oh.
And
Oh.
I actually had a bunch of mass markets in my car that I keep for little free libraries and stuff like that. So I went out to my car to get a bag and I just brought all the mass markets in, like, I think it's 6 or 7, and dropped them off.
Oh, they must have been so
And I was like, well,
surprised.
I have some here that I was, you know.
I love it. I love it. Kristen says it's the coffee talking honest. And not me asking Leah last night for a rugby romance.
She did.
That was great. That was great. There are oh, wait, I missed one. I don't care what you wanna write, lady. I need rugby in my life because of an IG reel I found. Yes, that was crazy.
That was insane.
Okay, we need to
I was just
explain.
like, I was just like the queen of historical romance or the queen of wedgie romance.
That's right. So
Because the way they play rugby is insane.
yes, I've never seen rugby played other than on
Yeah, me too.
Friends.
Yeah, neither have I. Yeah.
That's all I saw. That's all I know about rugby is I think Ross joined a rugby team once on Friends. That's all I know. But anyway, so Sock and Kristen and I buddy read Double Pucked last month. And so we've had this group chat going and Kristen, I think was it Kristen that
Yeah,
found the
yeah. She's the
rugby?
one who found
She's the
the
found it.
reel and
Okay,
shared it.
so it's just very interesting how they
There's
play
a lot
rugby.
of like adjusting one another. They wear little short pants. They wear hot pants essentially. And there's a lot of like adjusting one another's hot pants from the back and then using that adjustment and so on. And they will lift the guy up in the air, practically like a reverse Dirty Dancing. Instead of the guy being face down, he's face up so that he can catch the ball. And
Yes.
there is so much adjusting of the hot pants. And it's like
Much adjusting.
one thing if they adjust their own hot pants, which I'm sure they have to do because they're playing rugby in hot pants. But it's another thing when their teammates are like, help a buddy out here. And
Yes.
could you adjust my hot pants for me? It's very, very enjoyable to somebody who likes slash fiction.
I was waiting for that. Yes, I
It's
don't
compelling. It is
understand why
compelling.
they like, what are we doing adjusting one another's pants? I just don't understand. I don't understand. But it was hilarious to see. And the number of clips they had of that, you're like, this is definitely a thing. This wasn't just some weird
Yeah,
quote.
this isn't just like one special kind of league. This is like the whole sport, I guess.
Yes, yes. Well, guess what? Angie is helping okay, I'm gonna let's Chris yes, that's what I thought, Sock. I was singing The Time of My Life the 3rd time I watched it. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Angie has a good point that will lead us into our next topic. I love that everybody
Between
at
Kristen
home
and Angie, we're gonna stay on topic.
otherwise, this is going off the rails. There are so many new releases that are coming out today. Well, I'm so
Mhm.
happy that you mentioned that, Angie, because so here's the scoop. We are actually going to be go traveling back in time like Team Traveler, and we are going to be covering today some releases that happened in mid-April that I didn't have a chance to share with you because I want to it's kind of an in case you missed it. So we'll be catching up from some April releases. I will be talking about May releases later this month, but today I wanted to focus specifically on releases that are going to be happening, or excuse me, that are going to be happening. I need a little more caffeine. That happened in mid-April. So I wanted to make sure I didn't forget that. Now, I also wanted to say before we went into that, I wanted to thank Roxana15, who is a new member of the Queen Bees. I'm so excited that you joined. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And I'm really looking forward to bringing you all the extra content, of which there will be lots more this summer because I'm going to have more time to do that. I'll be backing off from the live shows a little bit, and then I'll be able to do more content for the channel. So that'll be really exciting for the members, I mean. So thank you very much for joining. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss out on that opportunity before we jump into the new releases. Now, because I didn't give these authors as much lead time to make videos, most people didn't have a chance to make a video. Actually, on Friday, I have some more like later April releases, and we have a slew of videos already for those. So you'll be seeing authors on Friday. Quite a few of them have created videos already. But for today, I thought we could just cover some of these. And as always, we will talk about any that we want to read and learn more about. So if you are curious based on the titles, let me know, and then I can read you the summaries. I've got my Amazon open right now. Okay, so here we have First Love Second Draft by Becca Kinzer, which came out mid-April. This appears to be not only a writer, but also a baseball player. And I love how they've used the draft as like a double meaning. I think that's so fun. Oh, wait, what was this? Oh, PS, can we all say how awesome your video before your the video before the interview. It was like watching a preview of a good movie. Oh, thank you so much, Kristen. I made that on the fly, and I if I had more time, I would have done it a little bit better, but like with the transitions between. But yeah, thank you so much. I had such a
That's
good
good.
time
Yeah.
making that. Yeah, I just wanted to incorporate everybody and do a little something fun, and yeah, so you'll be seeing that let's see, on Thursday as we do another author interview, and then I've got another one next week as well. So yeah, there's a lot of good times to show that. So I wanted to celebrate Crystal's amazing work through that. So yeah. Sock, any thoughts about this book before we move on?
Well, personally, I don't like second chance romance. I mean, you
Mm.
blew it. You just blew it.
No chance to come back. No
Learn and
chance.
move on.
There you go.
Learn from it and move on.
A lot of people are not big fans of second chance romance, so I understand.
I'm one of them, but a lot of people are. So
Well, yeah,
I'm sure
exactly.
hopefully they'll speak up in the comments if they want to hear more.
Absolutely, absolutely. We also have, this was out mid-April, Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I have heard so much about this author. Have you had a chance to read anything by her yet, Sock?
I read Done and Dusted, which I think was the first in this kind of like contemporary Western series.
Mm.
And I liked the writing and I liked the couple, but the issue I had, it was brother's best friend, and the brother was an absolute psycho about the situation. Like to the point where I thought he seems kind of like romantically obsessed with his sister, that he's objecting to her getting together with his best friend. And I found that to be so off-putting and unlikable. And he was supposed to be the hero of the next book. And I'm like,
Mm.
he's got a lot of work to do on himself. And I don't know, maybe she depicted that, but I was like, personally, I guess I don't really understand why a brother would lose his stuff over his sister dating his friend. I just don't get
Mm.
it. And a lot of times when I read those kinds of stories, the sometimes it's fine, and sometimes the brother does come off like some kind of like weirdo. And in this one, for me, I know a lot of people liked it, and no shade on them. It's just the way it hit me personally was like he was a little too problematic for me to want to
Mm.
read another book about him. So that was my feeling about that. But it was very
Yeah.
well written. It was well written. I just that character interpretation was a little strange to me, and I
Yeah.
there was
You know,
this great scene. There was this like secret spot he had that was like a waterfall kind of watering hole, swimming hole kind of deal. That was so beautifully described. I could just see it in my mind, and that was beautiful. But that brother thing was, yeah.
I love that. Now, I haven't had the pleasure of reading Lila Sage yet. I've wanted to try her mainly because I just keep hearing about her left, right, and sideways, as I've done with some
Mhm,
other contemporary romance authors who later I found, when I finally got a chance to read them, I've loved, like
mhm,
Tara DeWitt, actually, who wrote a
mhm.
second chance romance that's coming out May 20th called Left of Forever, which I gave 5 stars to. And again, I don't tend to like
Yeah.
second chance romance either, usually, but I think this
Mhm.
one was done well. In fact, we've got a couple more comments here. Nicole says, I love reading second chance romance, but in real life, I'm a nope, you blew it person too, Sock.
Well, that applies to situations in which I'm the person who blew it. You know,
Mm,
it's not just me not giving somebody else a second chance. It's me thinking, I don't really want to go back to this well, even when I was the one who screwed up and I know exactly what I did wrong and how to fix it.
yeah. Yeah.
but we have a contrasting opinion. Oh, but back to Lila Sage, she is a very good writer, really, really
Yes.
good writer. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, let me head back over here because I wanted to share too. I was watching one of Crystal's Bookish Life's videos, and she was saying, not to use her words, but I guess I am. She really enjoys Lila Sage, but I think I could be wrong that everything she's read by her she would consider to be more like 4 stars. There's just nothing that really
yeah,
takes it over the top, but she considers
yeah,
her a very solid contemporary romance author, which
yeah.
I found to be really interesting. So
Well, like I
I
said, I read that book several months ago. I read it last fall, I think, or last September or something. I'd have to go in my
mm,
Instagram to find out. And I still remember that scene in the swimming pool.
see the things that stick out with you. Kristen says Wild and Wrangled is so pretty. I want to have this series because they're so pretty, but I don't know if I want to commit. Shannon goes, if he's not a good enough person to be with your sister, why is he such a great friend of yours? I've always wondered that for like brother's best friend when that's an issue. I'm like,
Well, I can understand having a problematic friend that you wouldn't want to get together with your member of your family because you know their problems. But this guy wasn't problematic. It was just the brother being
mhm.
kind of a psycho.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Coming back to because we're also talking about second chance. For me, mistakes happen, but if you walk away, it's done. And Angie says, I'm not a fan of second chance either. Nicole says, I'm fiercely devoted in a relationship, but I don't walk unless I mean to. I don't turn back. First love, second draft. It looks like Eminem on the cover. It must be him. Hi, ladies and gents. Hello, Julie. It depends on the second chance situation. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean, there are some second chances where it's external factors that push the people apart.
right. Exactly. That's the thing. And I write this every time I write a second chance romance review where it's like, I feel like in my mind, this is the hardest trope to write because you need to have a good reason for them to have broken up, but then you also need the reader to want to root for them to get back together. And
Yeah,
I feel like that's the hardest line to walk,
yeah.
you
But if
know?
it's because I mean,
I tell you.
but maybe in first love, second draft, maybe the situation is that it was an external factor.
There you
You
go.
know,
It very well could be.
especially if he was drafted to like she needed to stay in one city for her job, and he was drafted to like a city across the country, and they were too young to do long distance. So
Yeah.
that could be that
There
could be
you go.
cool.
Now, in terms of Wild and Wrangle, I wanted to share something with you guys that I'm really excited about. So, as I mentioned, I haven't read Lila Sage yet, but for those of you that are Lila Sage fans, I thought you'd appreciate knowing this because I didn't know about this. And as far as I can tell, it's on NetGalley, but I don't know how widely it's known. Cut to you guys all saying, "Oh yeah, we already knew about this." But she's got a book coming out called Soul Searching, a Sweetwater Peak novel, and that is coming out at the end of September. And the arcs are out now, and I requested, so we'll see if I get approved. But it's like a spooky, good for a spooky season, October romance. So I'm really
Is she
looking
with
forward to.
Berkeley?
Is she? No, this is Random House.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. I
But
think I did look.
now that you're a blue NetGalley person,
That's right. I couldn't believe that when that happened. I was like, "Wait, why is everything blue?" And then I had to look it up and I was like, "Oh." So I'm really excited. So we'll see if I get approved for this, and then I can't wait to read it. I love a good spooky rom-com or contemporary romance. You know what I love about it? I feel like it's bigger than me, second chance. And I love that it's interesting and exciting. B is coming for you, Burke. I am. I'm coming for you, Burke.
well, that was
Get
the
ready.
comment I left was that first they're going to send you an arc, then they're going to quote you in a blurb, and then world domination.
I love that comment so much. Yes, I'm so excited. I will wait. I can't wait to see if finally they're going to give me an arc. If Berkeley will, I'm really hoping. We'll see. For those of you that aren't aware, and I was sharing this video with some of my members, the Queen Bees, but I just got elevated, if you will, in NetGalley. And so I now have, because I have over 100 reviews and I'm at 85% reviewed of all the things they've given me. I have an 85% ratio now. which is hard to get. You have to review a lot. And then more than 3 of my reviews have been used by major publishing houses to promote their books. So my color officially changed on NetGalley, and I have a new badge or something. But anyway, I'm really excited because I'm hoping this means that Berkeley, which is the only one that's ever said no, will finally say yes. They're so tricky. I know, Berkeley. Yes. Thunder
Berkeley!
and lightning. Thunder and lightning. Oh, you're so sweet. A world dominated by B would be such a lovely place. Thank you. I would try. You're so sweet. Oh
Can
my
I
God.
have Arkansas? Because I think I could do a lot of good work there.
There you go.
So you could delegate Arkansas to me.
There you go. Sounds good. We also have another newer, this one looks
Ooh.
kind of gothic and again spooky. Just talked about spooky.
Beautiful.
The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House by Joanna Davidson Politano, which, believe it or not, it has romance in it. So I did include this, and if you're interested in learning more, do let us know in the comments, and we can read you the summary. Yes, ma'am. Would you like
I'm
to hear
interested
more?
in more. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House, correct? Yes. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I can't wait. All right. Oh, and I love it says a gothic historical romance about a female inventor set in the 1900s on the coast of England. I love it already. A clever young woman, a contested will, and an estate that does not easily give up its secrets. It is 1901 when clockmaker and tinker Sidney Forrester receives a most unusual inheritance. Blakely House, the island estate of an estranged uncle she's never met, seems almost alive, revealing and hiding its secrets at will. It is filled with remarkable inventions, including an intriguing unfinished automaton. Sydney is automaton? Yeah. Sydney is
Automaton.
is itching to get her skilled hands on. The estate is also home to a number of peculiar people, including 2 men intent on removing this interloper from the island. Convinced that Sydney has something to do with their uncle's death, the late master's nephews contest the will and work against their cousin at every turn. Sydney finds a sometimes ally in the estate's butler, an ex-adventurer who ran aground on the island years ago. But when a mysterious man washes ashore with a stunning surprise that upsets everything, Sydney must prove she has inherited the late master's brilliance as well as his property, or someone else will. Looks
Oh,
very
oh,
interesting.
yeah.
And I love this cover. Initially, I thought those
Yeah.
were flowers above the bottom, the
Uh-huh.
border there, and those are gears.
Yeah. For the
I love it.
automaton. For the automaton. So
Yes.
it's like steampunk gothic.
Yes. Yeah, very interesting. So this looks like
Yeah.
a lot of fun. See, this is why I made I was like, should I just go ahead and do May releases or jump back and make sure we didn't miss anything exciting that came out in April? I'm really glad that I did. So yeah, really fun. We've also got Nashville Lights by Julie Capulet. And I don't think she was able to make a video in time. Or no, she said she was shy. That's right. She and I were talking.
I have a feeling Julie Capulet is not her actual name.
What? Why would you say that? I saw that too.
Well, actually, I think if I were a romance writer and I were going to use that for my my pen name, I would be Julie Montague, so that I could rewrite, a happy ending.
Yes. I love that. That's such a great idea. Oh, and I don't want to miss this. I think Paige was referring to this when she says, I want to read that one. Yeah, I do too. I do too. Things to read in Summerween or October. I love it. Wyoming says, congratulations, B. You always give honest reviews. Oh, thank you from your heart. Come on, Berkeley Books. You're missing out on B. Oh, you're so kind to say that. Thank you so much. I'm excited at the process.
Porkity, you have the silly vote.
That's right. I love it so much. Oh my. I love the font here and the colors I think are really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that's a fun one. Although, I'm not a big fan of people covers. I mean, at least he's not staring at us, but
yeah.
still. I don't know, when it's real people, it just feels like voyeuristic in a way that it,
Mm.
to
I
me, just to me. I mean, that's me. That's my thing.
Sure,
It's like,
yeah. No, we love
yeah.
opinions. We love to hear from everybody and get their unique
I mean,
spin,
it's not going to stop me from reading a book,
right?
but it's just like if there's a discrete option, I'd kind of rather have that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're
I'm a hearts
very in
and
right
flowers
now.
kind of gal.
They're very in. Kristen says Nashville Lights looks like a Teen Beat cover.
Well, yeah, that's why I like it.
Put it on your wall. There you go. We also have Greek Secret by Francesca Catlow, who may or may not be doing a video for us on Friday. She was excited, but she's so busy. But
That's
this
the
I
Greek
thought,
secret. That's like a Harlequin Presents title,
doesn't it? It says, "What if one summer could
except that it would
change?"
be Greek secret baby, but whatever.
Oh, well, yes, they would have to have baby in there.
I
Oh
actually,
my gosh! Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What were
when
you
I
gonna
was
say?
falling asleep last night, I had an idea, because the title of Harlequin Presents frequently just describes the entire plot. And
Yes.
it was the idea I had was the virgin billionaire's secret baby. And it
Wait.
would be about
Wait a minute. That sounds great.
a lady who is pregnant, and she says this billionaire is the father, or maybe it's the billionaire's brother, and she has to pose and pretend that the billionaire is the father. But this dude billionaire, it's a dude, it would be an MF. The dude is actually a virgin. He's never had sex. So
Wow. There you
he
go. That's
knows
where you're
it's
gonna
not,
write it.
maybe it's like he knows it's not his baby, but he's just like, she's kind of cool. And I'm gonna go along with this because I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
This popped into my brain as I was falling asleep, and then I dreamt about driving on the freeway, so it was not.
Sock's first book. Pup, you should mention it right now. Actually, you know what's so funny that you mentioned that? Because, okay, I want to show you guys something else neat. This is something I did the other day. I can't believe I did it. I don't normally do this. I'm not a member of any book of the month or anything. I just feel guilty getting more books. Somehow I end up with so many books anyway, but then like having a subscription service, I just feel so guilty doing that because I already bring so many books home. But I want to show you what I did. I did something, guys. And this is not a paid promotion because I just got this in my email. And then I was like, okay, I'll give it a whirl because the first month is like 20, what is it, 29, 22. But look at this. I'm getting my very first and potentially only Harlequin box because it's 59% off your first box, but the ultimate book box for romance readers. And
Mm-hmm.
it's free shipping. They give you 2 extra books. And so there, it says there's 6 swoon-worthy romance books, including 2 free books. It's a total value of $78. And they've got some really cute historical romances in there, like by Alexandra Kiley, Scott and Bothered. There's also Adriana Herrera. So, and I don't know, but apparently, like it's handpicked just for you. I was thinking they were probably going to do some sort of a questionnaire. I didn't get a questionnaire though, so
Well,
I
maybe
don't
handpicked
know.
especially for you is like marketing talk.
I have a feeling that's true now. But yes, so and then also I have a chance to win an espresso and a gift card and a hand-painted porcelain mug, and I love these little, what do you call these? The bookends that make the heart with the
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
A vanilla bean scented candle. I
Ooh.
just love it. So anyway, we'll see. You know who needs to enter this is Paige, because Paige wins everything. Ah, Paige, you would win this. Act fast, Paige, for your chance to win.
But I have a feeling Paige already has her own espresso machine, or something similar enough that she wouldn't need a second one.
Right,
She's
right,
just,
right.
you know.
Oh, she, by the way, said a comment I haven't had a chance to highlight it yet about this cover. I'll be the
Yeah.
voyeur. I love couples on the cover. I tend to enjoy couples on the cover too. So I'm with you. Oh, but Kirsten thought your twist was
I
masculine.
like it when sorry. Oh, thank you. I like it when the couples are painted
Ooh, yes.
because I
Who are
feel
we Who are we
Because
talking
then
to? Was it Alexa Aston, whose husband is an artist and painted her covers? Was that Annabelle Anders? I think it was Annabelle Anders.
I don't remember seeing that, so it must have been
Okay.
one that I missed.
Okay. But
Okay,
her husband is literal. I really think it's Annabelle Anders, but her husband is an artist and he painted her most recent cover, which I thought
nice.
was so neat. Christina Dodd is writing a series about what could have happened if Romeo and Juliet had survived. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. That is very exciting. Oh, you want the code? Okay, yay. Yes, I will send the code. I will figure it out. I'll do it during the break because we're going to take a break in a few minutes and I'll do it then. So that'll be great. We've also got, isn't this cover gorgeous, by the way? I love it so much. It reminded me that I need
It
to buy
is.
a new sun hat because my buddy ate my sun hat from last year. So I'm like, I need a sun hat. We also have good old Faye Delacour, who had sent me books. We've talked about her a great deal. Her Lady's Guide to London book was released mid-April. And I got a chance to read it. I really enjoyed it. It's about a woman who has her own ladies gambling club, wants more foot traffic, so she talks to people who own the Gentleman's Guide to London. They're unwilling to include it, so she decides, you know what, I'm going to write my own ladies guidebook to London. And
Mhm.
this poor unwitting gentleman who's written the Gentleman's Guide now has to help her create her ladies guide. And along the way of traveling throughout London, which was fun to watch them travel together through London and create this guidebook. Along the way, they, believe it or not, fall in love. But there are
There,
quite a few twists and turns that I did not
that
expect.
reminds me. There's an Alexis Hall wrote a, because I'm always going to bring it back to Alexis Hall if I can. Wrote a historical romance trilogy, something
Mm,
extraordinary, something fabulous, something else, and it wasn't something else. I just can't remember what it was. In
something else.
the final book involves running away to chasing after people going to Gretna Green, and they keep running into a guy who has basically come up with Regency era Yelp.
Oh, get
And
out!
it's totally hilarious because you have these people rating these inns and things, uh,
Love it.
and they keep giving things 1 stars even though they really liked it. Because it's like on Yelp,
No,
where people will be like, everything was fine except that I tripped over a rock on my trip, so 1 star. It's like that.
that's great.
So the Ladies Guide to London sounds like it might have a similar vibe, and I like that. I like that.
That's true. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I love that. Okie dokie. Looks like a couple people want the code too. I will share the code. I'm excited. And Terry's right. It is Annabelle Anders whose husband painted her most recent cover.
When you were like
Wyoming.
trying to remember, I was like, Terry's gonna tell us.
Yes. Terry knows
Terry's gonna
all.
know.
Terry, I told you when she said she was going to be a pirate instead of instead of a time traveler.
Terry
I'm like, uh-oh.
Terry knows facts to which she has never actually been exposed. She just pulls it out of the air.
Knows everything. She knows everything. I love it.
But she
Wyoming.
doesn't judge, so that's nice.
Yes. Wyoming says, "Does that mean you're going to do an unboxing video? I want to see what you get." I will. Oh, that's a great idea, Wyoming. I will. I
You
will.
do an
Okay.
unboxing live.
Oh my heavens, I could do
Wake
an
up to a box of romance.
wake up to a box of romance. I need that in my life. I would love to wake up to a box of romance. Okay, we're doing that. That's what
Well,
we're
it's
doing.
your
Thank you,
channel.
Mom.
You're the one who's going to make it happen. So.
Okay, there we are. I love it. Paige goes, I should enter, and then if I win, just send the love espresso machine to someone who needs it. You're so cute, Paige. I love it. Terry says, I had a life before the internet, which I didn't have anything to do but read books. And she must have read them all because she knows
Well,
everything.
Terry and I are the same age, so I kind of had a similar background.
I love it. I love it. We also have, I think this is the last one for this week or today that I wanted to cover is Change of Pace with Kayla Gross, where it looks like we have a hero and heroine who are both plus size, which I love and is so rare to see. So I thought that was kind of neat. So if you guys wanted to learn anything about that, we could certainly do that. It looks like we have another comment.
I have a plus size cover
Oh,
handy.
oh my heavens. Let's see that. As Terry goes, I'm the self-proclaimed queen of odd, useless knowledge. I don't believe it.
Well,
It's
it
not
wasn't
useful.
useless when I went on Jeopardy.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, you go. Okay, so let's see your cover. Let's see it. The Love Con. Ooh. Now, how do you end up with that? Did you just check it out? I mean, obviously you didn't know
I
you were
saw
going.
it's a library book. Yeah, I saw it at the library, and I had it checked out for a little while, and I kept putting it off. Well, I was putting it off because I didn't want to read it, but other stuff kept coming up, and then I decided it was actually due on May 3rd.
Oh no. Is
But
that a
I
hot
decided
book?
to hold it back until May, and I actually had it read before May 3rd. I just haven't gotten to the library yet. Maybe later today or tomorrow morning. I got this, and then I held on to it. I deliberately held on to it until after the readathon, after Ever Afterathon started, because it's contemporary. However, we have a BIPOC character and a BIPOC writer. So I
Ooh.
kind of held on to my contemporaries that were BIPOC or LGBTQ plus so that I could get the extra points for the team. In fact,
Nice.
I have it handy because I just was going to show off my stack real quick.
Okay. Holy cow. And look at
These
those
are,
sprayed edges on that one.
yeah, that's Ruthless Creatures, which is a mafia romance by J.T. Geisinger. And it's really good.
Isn't that what was Nicole just saying that she was reading that or no? Maybe that was last night. Oh my
That
gosh.
was me last night, I think.
Oh my gosh. I need more cow.
Uh, anyway, so I just, and plus I've read some stuff on Kindle.
Mm.
So this is
Mhm.
like this, because I was just before we started, I filmed my first 5 days of the Ever Afterathon wrap up. So I had these.
Yay!
So
That's
I'm
wonderful.
hoping to have that edited. I'll probably edit it during the sprint and maybe post it for like, schedule it for like noon today or something.
Excellent. Oh my gosh, that's excellent. Yay.
And I'm also doing a new thing just so people know, where I um
I'm so sorry.
no problem. Where I decided I'm going to talk about dark romance and spicy romance and kinky romance separately from other books, and I'm going to
Oh.
do bargain counter argument after hours.
Oh my gosh,
Because
that's so fun.
I did the book confessions tag. I did that kind of like a silly after hours thing where I pretended it was going to be really salacious and it wasn't, but it was like I really like the music and the vibe, so I'm going to like do some more like
Yeah,
that. But I figured that way people who don't care about that kind of thing can skip it more easily, and people who
right.
do care about that sort of thing can watch that and skip the other stuff.
There you go. That's perfect. Yeah, everybody will know exactly what they're getting, and yeah, that's
Mhm.
great. I'm really excited about that.
I did talk about these a little in my video because they're part of my readathon, but
Perfect. I love
they're
it.
going to be more detailed. So sorry I hijacked again, but I'm like
No, you
very
didn't.
excited. I'm so excited by this readathon. It's my
I know,
first.
I am too. We're just having so much fun. I love it so much. I'm so glad we're doing this, and it's already moving too fast. I can't believe we're already on day 6. I don't know how that happened. Well, we have about half an hour exactly until we're
That's
gonna be hanging out with the fabulous Jenna Bigelow. So what I thought we could do is we could do a 30-minute sprint. We're gonna get some stuff done, get some books read, and then we'll come on back. And because it's not really holidays anymore, and today has felt like a circus, I've got a circus dog for us. I
hey,
mean, this
it's
goes along with the
Bonnie.
vibe of this episode. Oh yeah, and
It's
you've
Bonnie
got the
on
dog.
a unicycle.
There you I love it so much. So, plates dropped. I'm really not sure what this is gonna be, but we're gonna find out together, and I kinda love that. Oh, Sock has a question, though, before we start. What is your favorite book you always think of or can't live without? Ooh, good one.
It is a collection of newspaper columns by Russell Baker called So This Is Depravity.
Oh.
And uh, Russell Baker's no longer living, but when I was a kid, we'd read the International Herald Tribune because we were overseas, and he had a column in there. His column was syndicated there. And I really liked his writing. And then when I found that collection, I have read through 2 copies of it. And then
Wow.
two mass market paperbacks, and now I have it in hardback. And he's just had a lot of he's had a lot of influence on my writing. And he like did this column where he approached reading what was then called Remembrance of Things Past and is now usually called In Search of Lost Time, which is like a really long, several volume work by Marcel Proust. He read it, but
Mm.
he described reading it as though he were summiting Everest.
Oh, that's
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah. And he was just like a really slyly humorous, dryly humorous writer.
I love it.
Yeah. He was just so that is actually, like I said, that's a book I've read through twice. I mean, I've gone through 2 copies and finally just got it in hardback.
I
Thanks for the
love
question, Barkety Barkety.
that. Awesome. Okie dokie. Well, let's go ahead and we'll get started. Everybody enjoy 30 minutes. We'll come on back and then we'll talk to Jenna Bigelow. I'm so excited. I'm going to mute it. Oh my. Okay. This may not have been my best idea. Oh, it's still doing that. It's going to make that sound. Oh no. I don't know how to mute that.
Oh no! Oh, the bell is is the bell a notification?
This just goes along so well.
Oh,
Okay, you're right.
okay,
Okay, we muted it. We muted it. Okay.
awesome.
This goes along so well with this morning. Okay. All right, I'm muting. Stop. Yes, that's it.
Your 30 minutes are up now.
I'm going to stop this. That was something. Oh, it's still not done. Okay. How perfect and how apropos for this morning. I have great news, though. Guess
Hey,
what?
I got my act together, Mama Jamma.
I am so thrilled. We have the fabulous Jenna Bigelow joining us this morning. Good morning.
Hi, everyone.
What time is it where you are?
It's 11. I'm in Wilmington, Delaware, so on the East Coast of the U.S.
Oh, wonderful. That's my husband's family's from Delaware. Oh, I love it. Oh, how fun. We go to Wilmington semi-regularly. A lot of that area is rural, or am I wrong?
Yeah, like Wilmington, and then there's like Dover South, and then we only recently moved here, so I'm still getting my bearings, but there's definitely a lot of chill, rural, like farmland, which is super nice.
Yes.
Have you seen any buggies yet?
Any what?
Buggies.
Like horse and buggies?
Yeah, because there's a fairly strong Amish presence and Mennonite presence.
They're not in downtown Wilmington, so I haven't seen them.
Well, maybe once you go out into the countryside.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, my husband's family all either went to or are going to or working at the University of Delaware. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Go Blue Hens. There's only 3 female mascots in the country, I believe, and the Blue Hens are one.
Very nice. Did not know that.
Interesting fact. Aren't you glad you came? Vi says, hi, Ms. Jenna. Thank you for joining us. We are just so thrilled. And I have to say, on behalf of the entire historical romance community, because yes, I'm going to say that, we are so thrilled to have an author who's writing things not that we don't love Regency. We were just talking about this the other night on another show. We do love Regency, but we also are really, really excited for an author that's willing to go out and tell us about another time and place. So we're so excited to have you here this morning and talk about all your books and what's coming up and all that good stuff. So
thank you so much.
Oh, and this, by the way, is Sock Marionette. She is my lovely co-host this morning, and we're just so excited to talk to you. Everybody's like, welcome. We're so happy. So, okie dokie. You know what? Okay, well, no. I'm sorry. Again, we're continuing with the craziness here. All right, let me do this. So, in case you didn't already know about the fabulous Jenna Bigelow, she is. Oh, you even got a copy! Oh, yay! She's written the Roman Heirs series, and I mean, these are just gorgeous. So, in case people didn't know what era I was referring to, oh, and she's got that one too. Oh, how fun! Okay, now I have to ask: do you happen to have your third one yet?
So the third one is coming out in July. I just got the cover for it. I'll be doing a cover reveal in the next 2-ish weeks, I think. So stay tuned for that. But it's very sexy and very fun.
Oh, how fun! Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, all right. So we will get to all of the good stuff, but I want to just start. Yes, ma'am. Sock.
I just wanted to quickly draw attention to Terry's comment.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if Terry has actually read the book, but that is hilarious. If she hasn't, it's hilarious.
Is this accurate, Jenna?
Well, this guy's name is Maximus, so
yeah. Well, there you go.
Well, wasn't it based on Maximus Decimus Aurelius?
The name was based on Quintus Fabius Maximus. It was.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got my Maximi mixed up.
There are so many of them in ancient Rome. Very easy to do.
I do it all the time. I was just doing it the other day at the grocery store. You know.
Yeah.
The covers are indeed absolutely beautiful. Oh, she was referring to the Gladiator. Interesting. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, we just have to get into all of it. You can tell everybody's super duper excited. All right, so Jenna, just to get us started, to learn more about you, what made you want to be an author?
Yeah, so back in like 2017, I had a really long train commute and I was like so bored and I needed a break from thinking about work. And so my mind just started like coming up with all of these stories. And finally I started writing them down. And then I realized I really enjoyed it. I started learning more about craft. I started learning more about storytelling, and I realized I sort of wanted to get serious about it. So I started actually like learning about publishing and all of that. And that was 7 or 8 years ago, and the rest is history.
Oh my heavens. And did everyone absorb the idea that 2017 was like that many years ago? She's like 2017. I'm like, oh, yesterday. Not quite. Very exciting. Well, take us through your journey to publishing your first book.
Yeah, so I wrote book one, The Tribune Temptation, in 2021, which was 4 years ago, surprisingly. And I explored traditional publishing. If you're familiar with that process, it involves like querying literary agents. And I got the same response so many times, which was basically along the lines of, I love everything about this, but ancient Rome is an unsellable setting. It's unmarketable. I don't know what to do with that, which was very disheartening.
Truly.
Yeah, and I started learning more about self-publishing, indie publishing. I was originally kind of terrified because you have to do everything. You don't just have to write and edit the book. You have to, hire an artist for the cover. You have to learn how to like format and typeset it. You have to do marketing, which is a whole other beast that I'm still learning about. But eventually I was able to connect with some other fabulous authors who have been successful, indie publishing romance, and I sort of got the courage to attempt it. So in 2024, I started getting really serious about it. And then this first book came out in March, and then I've got the second one coming out in 2 days on Thursday.
Oh my heavens. Oh, this is so exciting. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, we've got so many comments too. Yes, the covers are beautiful. And now I'm covering your face. I apologize. There you are.
You can switch it so that you're covering my face.
Oh, maybe I'll do that. Or I can cover my face. I think that would be most appropriate. So Terry asked a good question that actually I was going to sort of ask along that line as well. How did you choose ancient Rome? Why did you choose ancient Rome? Vi was asking too.
Yeah, so I've always sort of been interested in ancient Rome. I started taking Latin classes when I was in 6th grade, so at the age of 12. And then I ended up minoring in classical culture and society in college. And my greatest achievement is that in high school, I actually got a perfect score on the National Latin exam, not once, but twice, 2 years in a row, which was like basically like I peaked in high school, if you were wondering. Yeah. So basically, it's always been an interest of mine. When my writing started gravitating towards historical romance, I was originally writing in like the Gilded Age, which I, love. But then one day I was reading a Regency romance, and it was fabulous. But I suddenly had this idea of like, how would this plot be different if it was set in ancient Rome, and how would it also be the same? So I became really interested in taking traditional familiar historical romance tropes and vibes and transposing them into a setting that has some similar social norms, also some very different social norms, and I just really enjoy playing with that culture.
Oh, that's so neat. Vi has an interesting perspective. I'm low-key offended by the no market for ancient Rome books because I've loved anything to do with it since I was 8 years old.
Yeah, you and me.
I second that emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be very pleased with Jenna's books. Oh my gosh, that is
I
so
was.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked the first one, and I was trying to put the second one on my Kindle Unlimited. I'm like, why isn't this going through? Why isn't this going through? And it's like, oh, because it's not going to be released until Thursday.
4 days.
And then I signed up for the newsletter to get the bonus novella.
Oh, great.
Yes.
So I read that.
Yes. So let's talk about that a little bit too. So if we sign up for your newsletter, then we can get a bonus novella. Is this a prequel? Tell us about this.
Yes, so it's free. It's a prequel. My series is structured generationally. So each like successive book features like either the children or the adopted children or the stepchildren of the previous book. So this novella features the mother and stepfather of the male character from this book.
Oh my
And it's pretty long too. It's like almost 200 pages. So
yeah, it's like about 30,000 words. I always get confused with page count because writers tend to think in word count.
Yeah,
but it's definitely a full fleshed out story.
Yeah.
I
like that too.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Vi says, I've been looking forward to reading them. I've absolutely been living under a rock because I had no idea they existed. This is why we're doing this, to spread the word to anyone who hasn't heard yet.
So appreciate it.
So exciting. So, okay, let's talk a smidge more about these. So this is the one that people could grab today. Tell us a little bit about the plot for this one.
Yes, so it is a marriage of convenience story. Marriage of convenience is like by far my favorite trope, so I knew the first book was going to have that, between a sort of underdog politician and a upper class but sort of disgraced woman, and she's disgraced because she's failed to provide her former husband with a child, so he's divorced her. One thing that's really interesting about ancient Rome is that divorce was much more accessible to both men and women. It happened a lot. You have people forging and unforging political alliances by, divorcing and remarrying, etc. So that concept is really interesting to play with. And originally, these two decide they're only going to have a temporary marriage. They're just going to be married for X amount of time, and then they'll go their separate ways. Obviously, it doesn't quite turn out like that, but I thought it was really fun to play with that, because in like a Regency romance with a marriage of convenience, they're pretty much stuck together forever. They will fall in love eventually, obviously, but they, in this book, they actually have to make the choice to be together, and that they want to be together forever. So that was really fun to explore.
I would say one thing I liked about that was, because of the nature of ancient Rome and legal history, I really liked that it was literally contractual.
Yeah.
It's just like, I thought, oh yes, because of that tradition in Rome that we derive so many of our legal standards from. So it was like that was fun to see.
So
And
clearly, it sounds like the history, I mean, all of the work that you've done through, I guess, 6th grade, honestly, up through your schooling had helped inform how you were going to be writing this, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think I had a really strong foundation of knowledge of sort of the broad strokes of the culture and the history and everything. I did do a lot of deep dives into things that were pertinent to this book. So the main character, the male character, is a politician. So I did a lot of research into like the political system, the election process, even like the physical process of voting, et cetera, just to incorporate that. But I was starting from a pretty solid place.
I assume so. Did you just love getting to do a deep dive and learning even more than you already knew?
Yeah, I didn't think I needed to know how they cast ballots in ancient Rome, but apparently I did.
I love that.
I was curious about that, because they talked about the ballot box. They had ballot boxes.
Yeah, so my understanding is that they had like little tiny like wax tablets, and they would like write the name or initials of the candidate they wanted to vote for, and then put it in some sort of receptacle.
So it was secret balloting.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was a more recent development, but
yeah, and they had something really interesting that's basically like our US electoral college system, but like a lot worse, where people were divided up into, they call them tribes, but basically like groups, and you only have to win a majority of those tribes. But because of the way the tribes are divided up, I think in some circumstances, I read one analysis where in theory, you could only win 25% of the popular vote, and you could win an election that way. Just because of the way that everything is sort of divided up.
Fascinating. Oh my heavens, fascinating. I want to make sure I get a chance to glance at these points. This is funny too. So we're doing a readathon right now called the Ever Afterathon. And so we're looking to earn points. And here's a gal from an opposing team that she says, these books will give us bonus points for the readathon because they're not set in England again. So you're helping us out, Jenna, by the way.
Also, I made a comment too, because I didn't know if we were going to discuss this on camera.
Oh, yes.
You also get points for BIPOC representation, because within the context of ancient Rome, BIPOC characters, and also class difference.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the BIPOC representation. The male character in this one, he's sort of North African descent, but I think ancient Rome is so tricky because they didn't really think about the race the same way that we do now. But definitely class difference. Class difference is really.
I think the reason I was saying contextually, I was kind of translating it into a Roman context because of, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, so I'll be discreet about how I phrase that, but because of the background of him and his mom.
Yes, it's not a spoiler because I think it's in the blurb. So the main character of the first book is a former slave. So in ancient Rome, it was actually not that uncommon for slaves to become freed. They were called freedmen or freedwomen. But obviously ancient Rome didn't have like race-based slavery like we might think of from like an American context. Slavery usually happened, and anyone that like Rome conquered basically could become enslaved. So that was people from, Britain, France, all the way down to like North Africa, the Middle East, like depending on the era.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was like, well, within the context of the story, the stigma of being a current or former slave is somewhat akin to the kind of issues that the characters have to deal with as a result, is somewhat akin to what BIPOC people have to deal with in our society. So I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of putting it into the Roman context.
I see. I see. That makes sense.
Whereas like the actual race is not particularly relevant, but
yeah, his mom is from modern day Tunisia, if that helps.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I was like, I think I actually decided that it was more, again, putting it into a Roman context, that it was more relevant to the prequel. So I didn't claim for the first one, I did not claim BIPOC points. I did claim class difference points, but I didn't claim BIPOC. The second one, I thought, well, in the context, I think I'm going to go ahead and claim those points.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. I love Stacy says that the cover is gorgeous and marriage of convenience is my favorite trope. So that's fun.
And also, I think I'm using this term correctly. I would say that Crispina is a tsundere kind of character. She's very prickly, and, and I love her. I love them all. I love them all.
Yeah.
And in the prequel, I love them all, especially Eurydice the parrot.
Yes, best character.
I'm so excited to read these, I have to tell you. So this one you said is coming out on Thursday in just 2 days. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect from this.
Yes, so the male character here is the adopted son of the characters from the first two books. So from the first book, pardon me, so he appears as like a 7-year-old child in that book, and now he's a full-grown adult, obviously here. But it's a second chance, like childhood crush to lovers story. He's a soldier stationed in one of the Roman provinces in modern-day southern France. And lo and behold, the governor's wife is his first love. But then the governor dies mysteriously, and he sort of gets pulled into helping his love interest investigate that mysterious death, while also falling back in love with her at the same time.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, I'm so excited. The first chapter is appended to Tribune Temptation.
Yep.
If you need your appetite whetted, if you just can't wait another 36 hours or so. Yeah, today's Tuesday. I was thinking it's Wednesday.
Yeah, what day is it? What's going on?
I don't even know anymore. Anyway, I just want to say I really, really like them. The prequel and the Tribune Temptation.
Well, and can you tell us a smidge about this one too, in case we want to sign up for your newsletter and get this? I'm so excited.
Yeah, so this one has some like mistaken identity elements. So this features the mother from the first book they've just been freed from slavery. They have no money, but she's owed money by the wife of her former owner. So she does something very bold to try to get that money, and in the process literally bumps into this man who is immediately taken with her, but she doesn't want to tell him who she is. She doesn't want to reveal her background because she thinks he'll be not interested in her if he knows she has a background as being enslaved. So she sort of fudges her identity a little bit, and he pretty much immediately figures out that she's lying, which I love, but he doesn't confront her about it. And then they have sort of a love story, and he also has a pet parrot, which is fun.
We love a pet parrot.
He knows she's lying, but he's not sure what the truth is.
Right. Yeah.
He knows what she's lying about, just that she's being extremely dishonest.
I love it. Yes. And you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't ask a little bit more about these covers, because we do love covers here.
Yes.
Now you mentioned that you commissioned the art for these, or you spoke with an artist?
Yeah, so I hired a cover designer. She does a lot of covers for historical romances. Like you've probably seen books with covers by her before. And I was basically like, I want a traditional historical romance, like clinch cover, but they have to be in ancient Rome. So that was literally all I said. And I was like, go for it. And this is what I got back. And it was like so far exceeded my expectations, especially when I saw she really transformed the stock images that she was working with. So in this one, like the man originally was bare chested, and she actually like hand painted on that toga. In the cover on the second book, he was originally wearing very like not accurate and not visually appealing armor. So she totally like sort of photoshopped in some better armor onto him, which was really cool. And the cover of the third one, which hasn't been revealed yet, has a similar transformation, where you're starting with just two people and then sort of transforming them into ancient Roman people. So it's been a fun process.
I mean, these are seamless, flawless, just gorgeous. Sometimes we'll see the ones with stocks and we're like, wait, that's not their head.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just exquisite. Now, was your artist excited to work with something that was Roman set?
Yeah, she said at one point it was a fun challenge. So I'm hoping it was a bit of a palate cleanser from her. I think she does a lot of, Regency Victorian, et cetera. So hopefully getting to work on something different is fun for her.
Yeah. And I'm going to remove this again so we don't cover your face, because I can't remember how to just do on the fly switching pictures, so I'm covering a different person. But I must say the cover is absolutely lovely. She did an amazing job. Yes, for photoshopping into more accurate historical clothes. And the details in the background, yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I wanted to ask you, who would you say your greatest influences are? I can't wait to hear this as someone who comes from like an historical background. Like, what are you going to say?
Yeah, so the first historical romance I ever read was by Jeannie Lin. She wrote a series of romances set in ancient China, and that really opened my eyes to what historical romance could be outside of Regency and Victorian and whatnot, which again are fabulous. Like that's probably most of what I read, but it was so interesting to have my introduction to the genre be through something completely different. And I really appreciated the authenticity she brought to the setting. And I think what I really noticed was how, particularly for the female characters, they were so like strong and empowered, but also felt reflective of their time. Like they didn't feel like modern women that have just been plopped into this setting. So that's really something that I try to bring into my own work. And so that she's definitely an inspiration for me.
I love that. And I do appreciate that too. We love a good fierce heroine, but yeah, it's helpful when they're more appropriately set to that time period. It's very fascinating. Oh, people know. People know. Interesting. Interesting. So what is your writing process like? Where do you like to write? When do you write?
Yeah, so I'm definitely on the plotter end of the spectrum as opposed to the pantser end. I do a lot of outlining. I think honestly, one of my favorite things about the romance genre is the structure that books tend to follow. Like I'm sure you all probably read enough where you sort of recognize there's certain plot points that happen at certain points in the story. Like, they'll meet, they'll be attracted to each other. There's certain obstacles they have to overcome. Something really big happens, around 3/4 of the way in, and then they resolve it and live happily ever after.
Right.
So I really like having that structure as sort of a framework and guideposts as I'm writing. So I'll do an outline to make sure I've got those main points, and then I'll do what I call a zero draft, which is basically writing out what happens in every single scene as I go through. So like, she does this, he does this, she says this, very informally. And then I'll start actually doing a first draft. Honestly, like, those are my least favorite parts of the process. I really don't like having a blank page. It intimidates me. So once I've got the first draft done, I usually feel much more confident in editing and, polishing and really bringing out the elements of the story that need to be there. In terms of like when and where, I'm definitely a morning person. So usually I'll try to get writing done in the morning when I can. My apartment building has a really nice co-working space, so I usually go down there just to get a little bit of a break. I now have a very strong association of that space with the writing time, so it really helps sort of jog my brain into work.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's how wonderful. What would you say are the pros and cons of being an author?
Yeah, so I think a pro is obviously being able to tell the story that is in my head exactly the way I want it to be told. I think I originally started writing because I wanted to read a certain story and it didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So that's been really fun to get to do, over and over and over again. I think a
Mhm.
con, honestly, is that reading has sort of become more of a business activity than a pleasure activity. I sort of think of it more as like market research. I still enjoy it. Like, don't get me wrong, I still read every single day, but it's very hard to turn off that part of my brain that's analyzing, like, what do I like about this book? What do I not like about this book? What is this author doing differently? What can I incorporate into my style? Like those types of things. So, I can't necessarily like lose myself in a book as much as I might have before I started writing.
That's a really good point. That reminds me, my cousin, he works in filmmaking. And so now when he watches a movie, he's sort of looks at it from an analytical standpoint. And I thought I couldn't imagine doing that. You know what?
I would be so sad if I couldn't watch movies or TV, like
Right?
not thinking
Right?
about that stuff.
That's fascinating.
I'm
Well, and I didn't prepare this question, so if you can't think of anything, that's totally fine. But what are you reading right now, or what have you read recently, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, so I right now am reading an advanced copy of one of my author friends' books. It's called Savannah Royals by Lindsay Barrett.
Yes,
Have you
yes,
heard of it?
yes. I
Yes.
I have the arc. Yes, I'm gonna
Okay,
read that.
great.
I'm so excited. So have you started it?
I have, yes, it's wonderful. It's so like sexy, sort of like 1920s. It's just really fun. It has a love triangle trope, which is very difficult to pull off, but she does it flawlessly. It's a great read.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. That's too funny that you brought that up. Yeah, I'm so excited about that one. I haven't had a chance yet, but I think it's coming out at the beginning of next month. So I've got it on my
I want to say June 12th.
June 12th.
So
Yes.
definitely get that on your radars, everyone.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah. Oh, it looks like it's going to be really fun. And not discrepancy, a departure from we're talking about Roman, and all of a sudden we're talking about
Yep,
like
yep, yep.
gangsters.
But
And
we're
like,
not talking about Regency.
still not talking about Regency. Yes, I love that. I love that. So I have one of my very favorite questions to ask because everyone always comes up with a unique perspective. What would you say makes a great story?
Yeah, I think as a romance reader and writer, it all comes down to the chemistry and tension between the characters. Like, why do they want to be together and what's keeping them apart? I really think as long as that comes through, anything else is is a bonus. So that's really the initial spark for me.
I love that. Hey, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. Absolutely. Now, I know you're still a relatively new an author, but I'm sure you've gotten feedback from people that have read and enjoyed your first book, the newsletter inspired, or not inspired, but the prequel, the one that's coming out on Thursday. I'm sure you'll hear even more. What would you say so far is resonating with your audience? What do you hear most often?
Yeah, I think there's two things that have sort of come through in a lot of the reviews that I've seen. One is the way that I've approached the setting. I think people seem to feel that it's very like immersive without being overwhelming. I'm not trying to write a Roman history textbook over here, certainly not. So that's been great to hear that resonate with people because I was so worried, like, are people even gonna like this? Are they gonna get it? So I'm glad to hear that that's been resonating with people. I think the second thing that I've been hearing is the consistency of the characters, especially because I have characters appearing in multiple books because it's, as I said, like generational. So for example, like this male character, he's, as I said, originally like a 7-year-old child. So it was a really fun challenge to age him up into the hero of his own book while remaining true to that child that he was, while also sort of giving him a chance to grow and develop and mature.
I love it.
Can I say something as a member of your audience? What I liked is that the first point you made, or that your readers have made, and the way that the historical exposition is incorporated into the story. So it's not a bunch of, and at that time they were adopting people left and right, and at that time there was many occasions in which they would divorce. It's incorporated much more organically into the story, and I really, really appreciated that approach.
Thank you.
Yeah, that has to be so challenging to not want to just give all the history, given how much you enjoy it.
Yes, I do so much research, and probably about like 10% of what I research actually makes it onto the page, but it all sort of creates the universe.
I love that. Vi asked an excellent question. What has been your favorite thing to find out about the history of Rome that you came across in your research, or from when you were studying it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll give you a sneak peek into my next project because I've learned a lot in researching for that. So I'm planning a 3-book series that will focus on gladiators. So I've been doing a lot of research about gladiators and how they lived. And one thing that I found fascinating was that there were actually like referees for gladiator matches. So they would like stop the fight if it had been going on for too long and they thought they needed a break. They would pause if like someone, lost their armor or whatever and needed to reset. So that was like fascinating for me. And now I'm picturing like a soccer referee, like blowing the whistle, So
I'm picturing Russell Crowe going, excuse me, my shoe came untied.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm picturing Mickey
or I lost a contact lens and everything comes to a crashing halt.
Pause. Take
Well,
5.
they figured that out.
I was envisioning like from the Rocky movies where they throw the towel. Like, throw the towel.
I haven't seen them, but
So
yeah.
funny. We all have our background knowledge, don't we? We all do. Okay, here comes one of my favorite questions. It's not my question. This is Sock's question. Sock, would you care to ask this one?
Well, I already know the answer for me personally, but I like to get the straight scoop from the writer. And of course, I haven't read Legionary Seduction. If I were to burn a candle while reading your book, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think it's funny because when you gave me this question beforehand, I was originally like, oh, a wine scented candle. But then I was like, does that even exist? But I can see from your photo that it absolutely does exist. But
it is mulled wine, and I looked into it, and the idea of incorporating spices into wine that had already been produced after, aftermarket additions, as it were, was already prevalent in Roman cuisine. And I have a backup. Well, one I couldn't find, and one I do have. This is rosemary focaccia.
Yum.
And focaccia was some kind of flatbread, was something that they made. And then I couldn't find it, but I also have just a candle that's rosemary. And I don't know where she learned this, but my sister mentioned many decades ago when she and her husband and I moved into a house together that had rosemary growing by the front door. She said that there was a sort of like an old wives' tale or folklore or something in Roman times that rosemary by the door meant a strong woman lived in the house.
That's funny. I haven't heard that, but I love it.
And I don't know where she got that from. And I think this was like 30 years ago. So I think if I mentioned it to her now, she would be like, I don't remember that. When did we ever share a house together that had anything? Did we share a house together? Anyway, funny. I don't know that she would necessarily remember. I think she would have source amnesia on that. So, but that's the word on the street.
I love it.
It's the word on the via.
I love it. Laurel scent is another one that Terry said. But you said wine. Is that what you finally decided on, Jenna, or?
Well, so that was my first thought, and then I wasn't sure if it existed. I think my second thought, so for this book particularly, it starts in southern France where there's a lot of lavender growing. So I might be inclined to like go in that direction, like a nice lavender, like calming scent.
Ooh. Oh, how fun. I love it. It's such a fun question. Thank you, Sock, again for that amazing question. I just love it. Now, if you were to write in another genre, what do you think it would be?
That's such a tough one. So I think if I had to write in another historical era, my second favorite is probably the Gilded Age. But if I had to switch genres completely, I've always wanted to write fantasy because it's my sort of next favorite genre to read. But I don't think I have what it takes for the world building. Like I can world build something based on an actual historical world, but I don't think I could like do it from scratch. But maybe I would try.
You could do a low fantasy.
Yeah,
we all love those.
You could do like urban fantasy, but it's Rome.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Boom. Done.
Sold.
There we have it. There we have it. Now, what is your favorite book or series? Yours or someone else's?
So I think my most recent 5-star read, I think is probably going to end up being one of my like all-time favorites. So I'll go with that. But it was For My Lady's Heart by Laura Kinsale. So it's a medieval historical romance. I believe it's set in like the 1300s. But what I loved about it, aside from like the plot and characters, which were like, chef's kiss, but I love that the dialogue is written in like period accurate English. So it's actually kind of hard to like parse out at certain points. So it really makes your brain work, but it was just like fascinating to hear characters speaking pretty close to how they would actually have been speaking and hear what English, might have sounded like, however many centuries ago. So I just loved it.
Was that a recent publication by her, or is that an older one?
No, so it came out in 1993, which was the year that I was born. So it's literally as old as I am.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Laura Kinsale was, I don't know if she's still writing, but she was very active in the 90s. She was big in the 90s.
Yeah, I have a few of her books. Yeah,
so do I. I don't know if I have
beautiful.
For My Lady's Heart, but I know I have a couple.
I'm going to have to look now. Now, who would you say is your book boyfriend?
So that's such a funny question, because the other day I was literally trying to think through all of my male characters and decide if I would actually want to like date any of them. And I think the answer is actually no, with one exception. So I'll walk through all of them and why I wouldn't want to date them.
Yes.
So this guy is quite extroverted and he has a public facing job. And I don't think I would want to be married to a politician. So sorry, Ilias. No, thank you. This guy is probably the runner-up. He's wonderful, but honestly, he's probably like a little too dumb. Like, he's a himbo, and we love to read about himbos, but I'm not sure I could date one. And then the male character of book 3, which is coming out in July, is a very ambitious workaholic. And he ends up with another equally ambitious workaholic. So they're, made for each other. But I think like he needs to chill, and that's not my vibe. So I think the one that I actually would date is the male character from the prequel novella, The Merchant Match. He is so like calm and like stable and nice. He's a little bit more mature. He's in his 40s. He's emotionally intelligent. He just has like very chill vibes. And I think that's like long-term partner material for me.
I think he's like my book boyfriend, like of the recent books I've read.
Nice. Oh, look at you. Oh, it's a love triangle.
I mean, he's still younger than I am. I'm still robbing the cradle, but not by an absurd amount.
Nice.
It's a small age gap. Romance.
Smaller.
There we go. I love it. Now, who would you say is your favorite heroine, Jenna?
Yeah, I guess I'll stick with my books. I think it's the heroine of book 1. I love a mean heroine. She's quite prickly. She's a little bit cold. She does not really care if people like her or not. And I don't know about you guys, but like I definitely have like people pleaser tendencies. So it's very refreshing to read a female character that does not care if she pleases people or not. That's what I go for.
I love it. So, okay, we've talked about this a little bit. We only have 5 minutes left. How does this time go so fast? I tell you. What is on the horizon for you? Obviously, this is another opportunity to talk about this, which is coming out in 2 days.
Yep. So this book releases on Thursday. It will be available on Kindle Unlimited if you have that, so you can snap it up there. And in July, book 3 in the series will be out. I think July 10th is the release date. So stay tuned for that. And then I'm hoping that my Gladiator series will maybe be out in like Q1 of 2026. But we'll see how that goes.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. And when you say Q1, does that mean Q1?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Don't hold me to that, but we'll see.
Okay. And you said within the next couple weeks, we're going to see the cover reveal for book 3.
Yes. So I'll be doing an early reveal to my newsletter and then posting it on social media.
Guys, if you haven't already been convinced to get the newsletter, I'm sure you're now even more convinced. We're all going to go straight and get your newsletter like right now.
I already did, man. I got her newsletter before it was cool.
That's right.
Getting the newsletter has always been cool.
That's right. Sock's always at the crest of the wave, She's so
I am not, but when I am, I am going to crow about it.
There you go. And finally, and most importantly, maybe, where can we look for you? Where should we be looking?
So I'm most active on Instagram at Jenna Bigelow Writes. And then obviously I'll share updates to my newsletter on things. But yeah, I think Instagram is probably the best place to find me.
Excellent. Now, is there anything else before we go? Anything else you wanted to share, or Sock, anything you wanted to ask or anything? Because we have like 2 more minutes.
I'm good. This has been so much fun.
This has been so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited. I just can't thank you enough, because we've talked to so many authors who have felt even sort of stifled by some publishing companies where they're like, you have to write Regency, you have to write Regency. And
Mhm.
just to see the work that you're doing is, I think, hopefully going to inspire even more authors to get outside that box, write in different, time periods and places. I'm just so excited to see where this can go. And I've heard nothing but fabulous things about your books, and I just can't wait to read them all. It's
Thank
going
you
to
so
be
much.
amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, thank you.
Thanks. Thank
Okay,
you.
now, Sock, did you want to plug real quick before we go?
Yes, I will plug. I
Please.
am in the process of editing, and it should be out in an hour or two, depending on how long the export takes. My a wrap up for the books I've read so far for the Ever Afterathon. And then later I will post, I haven't filmed it yet, but I will do the after hours where I talk about the darker, kinkier, spicier types of romance.
Perfect.
And tomorrow I have a live, my midweek motivation at 2 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern. And that's going to be reading, productivity, napping, sprints, whatever you want that time for. And in between talking about, I picked up some free books at the library. I mean, that I got to keep, not just checkouts.
Yes.
And Abby Jean will be co-hosting with me.
Excellent. And
So
tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Tara and I have Tara of Tea and Biscuits with Tara and B. We're doing our reading sprints where we will be voting for June's book and July's theme. So we hope to see you there as well. So plenty going on.
So
And I
there's
just want
lots of lives. I'll probably because of that live going on, I'll probably cut the midweek motivation. Probably will be a little shorter than usual because I
okay.
know there are only so many lives people can attend, and there's only so many lives I
This
can
is true.
attend. So
This is true. All right. Well, we're going to head out. Thank you so much again, Jenna, for your time. I'm just so excited about all the work you're doing. And yeah, we'll be looking for you. We can't wait to see the cover reveal in the next couple of weeks, and check out that book in 2 days. Cannot wait. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.